world, it's Snocross. Once again, the WSA Snocross Series. This time, as we continue the season, we come to you from Syracuse, New York. The Yamaha Eastern National on a bright day, but a very cold day. Look at the wind whip through here. The temperature, as we look at the Lenko snowmaking weather report, is down at 16 degrees. Can you imagine what the wind chill is as they ride these sleds? It's Pro Stock LCQ that comes up first. Remember, 4 transfer to the second row in the final. And there is the rundown of those in the LCQ. Flag drops, 8 laps to go in the LCQ for Pro Stock. Even start. Ken Ibsen way over on the outside. Looks like he may have gotten the best start.
Yeah, looks like it. Also, right in that mix was 141, the great Canadian Carl Allard, and I also saw
Whoa!
Big pileup.
4 competitors involved there right on the first corner.
Yeah, right there's number 9, Kurt Crapo. Also involved was number 30, Todd Tupper. So a couple of major players taken out.
Very costly when that happens in the short LCQ.
Again, you can see Ibsen starting to draw away just a little bit, putting a very strong run on. Yellow flag for the accident. On board now with Shubitsky. Here's that little left-hand flick sort of the bottom of the hockey stick. There's that incident down there. Oh, Trevor dove underneath. He may still have been in that yellow flag zone. Gonna have to watch and see. Oh, there it is. He made the pass. The question was it in the yellow ball?
So as you watch the front of the field, Ibsen, Allard, and Kuster, the question is back here with those red sleds. Because Trevor John went around Kohanski. The officials are going to have to look at that and decide if it happened in the area affected by the yellow. If so, then Greg, what does he have to do?
Well, if he did, he would get a black flag and he has to drop to the back of the pack. Once he goes to the back of the pack, then whatever he achieves from that point on is all good. And you see those sleds were still bottled up there. I think Trevor John may have made a pass into yellow. If he did, he's got to go to the back. If he doesn't do that, he's scored at the back anyway. So it's a much smarter move to obey the black, go to the back, and try and get back up into that top 4.
Remains a good fight up here at the front. Ibsen, Allard, Carl Kuster. And Trevor John, they've given the black flag to him. So Trevor John has to go to the back. He drops out of the scoring. Yellow flag still flies there. And that puts Kohanski in 4th, the transfer spot.
Well, that infraction by Trevor, huge. We talk about in these LCQs, it's the top 4 that have to go. That was a switch in position for 4th. Now we'll see whether he does drop back. He has not done it yet. Now that may mean he just missed the black on that one lap with all the traffic and snow dust. They'll continue to display that to him, but he's in some trouble. There went Greg Hyde by Shubitsky. Boy, these onboard helmet shots, so incredible.
Greg Hyde on number 4, riding very well, now begins to attack Noel Kohanski. And the scoring, of course, because of the black flag, is not going to reflect the presence at all of Trevor John in there.
So the one thing that's really important here, and both Kohanski and Hyde are pretty savvy racers, they need to be thinking about that, realizing Trevor's not in the mix right now. Think about where they are on the track and react accordingly.
Hyde and Kohanski back and forth for the transfer spot. Ibsen leads with 3 to go.
Back on board with Shubitsky catching that monster air. And the real battle to watch here is Kohanski and Hyde. Because with this gentleman right here, Trevor John, essentially out of the mix right now, the battle between Hyde and Kohanski will be for that 4th spot. There's a good look at Kuster in 3rd.
The 40 sled. Ken Ibsen up in front. Allard on 141 trying to catch him. Here's your 3rd place sled of Carl Kuster. Whoa! And Ibsen's off! Ibsen's off, Allard goes to the front.
Unbelievable, and it looked like Ibsen, it was just a step off. The sled got away from him, he stepped off it, never even disconnected the tether. The engine kept running, but by the time he got on and squeezed the trigger, Paul Allard was by.
So Carl Allard on 141 picks up the lead. Ibsen's really not that far behind. He lost momentum, lost the position, but he's still very much in the fight.
And very much in the transfer spot, too, and that's what he's got to remember. Now he's got Kuster pressuring him a little bit, but that's not for points, not for anything other than just a change of position, but they're all in the top 4. So right now, if Ibsen's a little bit messed in the head, just trying to think about what happened in the incident, he doesn't have to push that hard to stay in front of Kuster. It's not a big deal. There is, again, Trevor John. He's not a factor in this. It's still Hayden Kohansky.
Carl Kuster is working hard on Ibsen, trying to run him down. It would be for position. It won't matter relative to the race itself. Allard leads them as they run now for the checkered flag. The battle for second continues. Remember, Trevor John is not a factor. Allard takes the win. Well, a more than interesting little run for the Arctic Cats. They take 1, 2, and 3 ahead of Greg Hyde's Polaris and will advance to the Pro Stock Final. Well, still to come, guess who that is? No number, must be 0, Jerry Bernardo. He's going to take a ride, and we're going to ride with him. And then Blair and Tucker meet in the stock final. That'll be coming up next. And of course, when you have action on the track, you've got guys like Blair Morgan and Chris Vincent, and they get together. We'll take a heavy look at a heavy hit. All right, we're ready for the Pro Stock final, but Chris Vincent has had an interesting time in qualifying. We want to show you some of that.
In one of the earlier qualifying heats, watch this. That's Vincent. Here comes Blair Morgan. They head down into that turn. Morgan makes a pass, but here's what I was talking about in that turn. Look at Vincent. He cut over, counter jumps, cross jumps, gets underneath Morgan. Morgan was passed already. Tried to save it by turning into Vincent. Right here, watch. Vincent has landed. He's in front of Morgan. Morgan tries to turn into him anyway. Knocks them both over. Morgan flips. Vincent just drops down off the track. Morgan gets back on, but he's well behind. Vincent recovered quickly. Ended up finishing in the top 3. Morgan, though, was still incensed by what he thought apparently was something that Chris did wrong. And watch what happens right here. This is now after the checker. Boom! Morgan turns into Vincent. Vincent put his hands up, said, "What's that all about?" Vincent's pass was clean. Morgan didn't think so, retaliated.
Then there's the story of T.J. Gula. We want to take you back to Shakopee.
The fact this kid is racing is amazing. Look at this crash that happened right at the start at Shakopee. There's a look at the line. They are off the line. What happens as he gets into the finish straight right here, watch this. He goes over the jump and his motor seizes. That goes all the way forward. He augured in, hit extremely hard. No bruising or anything, but the impact was enough to tear a lung. He got up spitting blood, and the fact that he's recovered as quick as he did is amazing. Look at the impact from that angle. It just stopped, and it reamed his body into the bars, and that's what did the damage. I mean, this was a very hard crash, and he paid the price for it.
Also a tribute to the conditioning of these fine racers as we show it to you again. Seized motor. He's lucky he wasn't crushed by the sled as it flipped over.
You're right about the conditioning. Even with a torn lung, he got up and walked off, crawled off to the side of the track. Then, of course, the medical help arrived. But he's okay racing this weekend.
And there are 2 on the line. That's Carl Kuster, the 2001 Hillcross gold medalist from Winter X. There's the lineup for this Pro Stock final. And, of course, you saw the LCQ. There are the 4 led by Carl Allard that will line up in the second row.
That's Hibbert up on the outside. Vincent, there's Gula, and Morgan swamped a little bit back in the pack. Gula and Hibbert, the 2 teammates side by side, Chase and Hibbert.
Hibbert got a great start, rocking it out from the far right side of the line. Brad Pitlick, he's caught well back in the field and in the fight. There's Tucker Hibbert. He leads. Vincent battles with Gula.
Boy, for a minute there, Vincent still couldn't shake Gula, but that outside line gave a little bit better speed. Good look at Hibbert and the amount of ground he's opened up already.
Back there behind Gula, and now closing on him on the black sled. That's Todd Wolf. And then Blair Morgan. Whoa, what a position down for Morgan.
Buried in fifth, and he's actually got some pressure behind him as well. Meanwhile, look at this condition here. As the weather's gotten so cold and the top of the track softened up, look at that snow dust. It's hard little crystals that are getting thrown up in the air, and they just hang.
It's goodbye to the kid. Hibbert out in front. The three Ski-Doos of Vincent, Gula, and Wolf are battling it out, second, third, and fourth. Now Morgan's going to come into that fight.
Morgan, he ducked underneath Wolf, and look at the counter move. Wolf made, cut back underneath. Morgan still there. Wolf cuts back again. That was 3 passes and 2 turns.
Morgan still battles to get past the group of Ski-Doos. So far not successful inside of Wolf. He grabs it away from Wolf. Morgan into fourth. Now he sets his sights on TJ Gula on the yellow sled.
Boy, Wolf's not exactly letting him go either, but now Morgan going to solve it underneath. Gula, nice pass, picks the spot up.
Morgan nails the throttle, sprays Gula with snow dust.
Did you hear that chunking? That's what I was talking about when I was standing on the track. You overjump a little bit. That snow on top soft, but underneath that, it's rock hard. Boy, this is a beating here. And look who Morgan's closing on.
Second place, Chris Vincent is the next target for Blair Morgan. And boy, Vincent really blew a landing there. It jolted him hard. Here's that fight for second. Morgan comes down to the inside on Vincent. They come off the corner, they get together.
Oh, Vincent's off. Vincent was not clean off the track. He's regained, but he's lost a couple of spots. Let's go back and take a look at it. Now remember, Vincent's bobble allowed Morgan to close. Morgan comes down underneath, turns, but now goes to the throttle, and right there he turns into Vincent. They clock each other again, and Morgan knocks Vincent right off. There you can see it, knocks Vincent right off the outside edge of the track. Well, I'll tell you, some bad blood redeveloped at the X Games. Looks like it's continuing to flow here.
That puts Blair Morgan all alone in second place ahead of TJ Gula. Vincent had to slot into fourth place after literally getting shoved off the right side of the track. Tucker Hibbert is the leader. So Tucker Hibbert runs out in front here in the Pro Stock Final. Welcome back to Syracuse. The Pro Stock Final underway. 4 laps to go. Tucker Hibbert is the leader. Blair Morgan in second place, but he's really muscled his way up to second place, and in part got there by shoving Chris Vincent off the right side of the course. TJ Gula is right behind Morgan, running in third.
Great look here for a full lap at Tucker Hibbert, and the approach he uses, you can see standing up, moving those feet around, shifting the weight around. Morgan's the guy who brought that and perfected it. Hibbert's able to match it at any rate. There's Morgan, and I mean, he got by it into second a while ago, and that tells you how quick Hibbert's running, that he hasn't been able to close up more than he has. You see how far he is ahead of Gula and Vincent and Wolf, but Hibbert's pace is very strong right now.
Greg Hyde on number 4 off the right side of the course there, no factor. You know what is interesting to me, though, is I'm seeing both Hibbert and Morgan down on the seat a little more than I would have expected.
Well, part of that is that because we lost all that snowpack here, Paul, you don't have those big canyons, those 3, 4, 5-foot holes out there. The track in a lot of spots is a lot smoother than it otherwise might be. In that case, you've got to get down on the seat so you can get off to the side of the seat to get as much speed through the corners. You got to get your center of gravity, your CG, as low as possible. There's the signal for 2 laps to go for a fast line through the corners. If it was big rolling moguls, then you're up because you're more riding through and over them. Here, it's all about speed.
TJ Gula on the yellow sled. There he is, currently third. Right behind him, though, of course, is Chris Vincent trying to catch him. We're back at the front. This is Tucker Hibbert, the now famous number 68. Blair Morgan's got some work to do if he's going to catch Tucker Hibbert.
And he's only got 1 lap to do it. There you see Hibbert stands up to get over a couple of holes, back in the seat. Now he moves off to the side, uses that high berm to help just sort of ramp him around the corner. There's Morgan giving chase. And then behind them, 3 teammates, all running for Warner Racing, Gula, Vincent, Wolf.
Blair Morgan trying to catch Tucker Hibbert, but time's all but run out here. Still, it's a good ride for Morgan as he fell back as far as 5th on the start and had to muscle his way through the field. Tucker Hibbert takes the Pro Stock win followed by Blair Morgan across the line in second place.
Morgan's job was a tough one, remember. He had to work up through the pack. He had to get by 3 guys in the battle he had, not only with Vincent, but remember the pass and repass and pass and repass with Wolf. That was some awesome racing.
TJ Gula holds on to third place, holding off the charging Chris Vincent after he got pushed off the side of the course. So there they are, the official final results of the Pro Stock final here, with Tucker Hibbert taking the win. Let's go down now to Jerry Bernardo.
TJ, it's good to see you back, and even better to see you back on the podium with a third.
Yeah, it's been a long time overdue. I've been, trying to get on the podium all year, and I just had some bad luck with injuries and just equipment kind of not coming together. But this weekend it was awesome. The Skidoo Formula XPS sled was just hammering this weekend. My dad had it set up perfect, and we were there for the podium.
Did your injury from a while ago have anything to do with this?
Yeah, it made me more hungry because I haven't been on a sled for a while, so I just wanted to get up front and prove that I was a contender again. So I'm breathing on both cylinders this time, and I'm good to go.
All right, good job, man.
Thanks.
And here's what that does to the Pro Stock point standings, with Blair Morgan now being attacked again by Tucker Hibbert. What about Tucker? Let's go back to Jerry.
Another win for Corporal Crush, just doing what you do best, having fun. Let me ask you this, though. Early laps, you looked out of shape. Usually you're totally in control. What was up with that?
I don't know. I was a little bit out of whack there. First few laps got kind of squirrely a few times, but I don't know. Just not feeling all that well this weekend. Don't feel like I can get a good rhythm going, but it went good. Got an awesome hole shot, and just rode hard. Blair came from behind and caught up at the end there, so a few more laps, it would have been a good race, but just had a lot of fun.
Does that have anything to do with whacking yourself in the butt at the X Games?
No, that's not really bothering me that much. I don't know what's going on this weekend, really. Just can't get everything to work right, but hopefully we'll be ready to go for the mod.
Can't be all that bad. You got another first. God bless you.
Yep, thanks, Chair.
And when we return, we want to introduce you to Steve Shearing of Amsoil. And our good friend Jerry Bernardo is going to go racing. We'll be back. Well, the time has come. Our own Jerry Bernardo, number 14 in your programs, but 1 in your hearts, gets ready to defy death and disaster at every turn on a snowmobile. One problem, though, Jerry needed some sort of sled.
Any nervousness or trepidation in loaning one of your race sleds to an unproven snowcross racer such as Jerry Bernardo?
My mechanic and I weren't nervous at all. He said, hey, go out and have a blast, have some fun, and
So with the help of Noel Kohansky and his team, the great Bernardo was ready. Well, as ready as he could be. Of course, when you're the new guy, then everyone can give you advice. A bit much at times, but Jerry recaps what he was told.
When you're racing, think of this, and be careful.
Suited up with a helmet cam. Jerry Bernardo, number 37. Not Noel Kohansky.
If you were going to give one piece of advice to somebody riding a snowcross race for the first time, what would it be?
stay on the sled.
Just to go out and have a lot of fun, and just learn as much as you can.
Just ride under control, don't ride over your head, and try not to crash.
Take your time, think about it instead of bashing through.
Use your head more than the throttle. Keep your eyes open and don't worry about winning, just figure out how to ride a sled first.
Okay, now if that one person happened to be Jerry Bernardo, what piece of advice would you give him?
I think I'd have to say go big, hit some big jumps. Just because he's not riding my sled.
I would tell him to put on as much protective equipment that he had.
Pin the sucker.
Just hold it wide open, Jerry.
Don't get on the sled.
Oh, yeah. You listen listen to Morgan or Vincent or Tucker Hibbert. Best advice given there was don't get on a sled. This is Jerry's moment. You gotta remember, everything he's doing is borrowed from Kohansky.
Hey Dave, you're serving as Jerry's mechanic. Did you set him off with any words of wisdom before his first big race?
I told him to have fun. I told him not to lose.
Seriously impressed. Bernardo did a nice job. Hit second. What are his last thoughts?
I attribute my second to last place finish to the guy that crashed, and I passed him when he was down. But I hope he's safe, because safety is a major factor at the WSA, and I hope for a quick and speedy recovery so I can get second to last again in the final.
By the way, for the record, Jerry hasn't seen the inside of a church in 12 years. Coming up next, it's Inside Cross. Welcome back to Vernon Downs in Syracuse, New York on a very cold day. Yamaha used this weekend's opportunity to introduce and debut their new line of Viper sleds, and they are hot. Why are they hot? Well, they've been modeled mostly after the Pro Open racing sled. Very, very cool. Now it's time for Inside Cross with Greg Kramer. Inside Cross is brought to you by Ride FX. Ride hard. We can take it.
As WSA Snocross continues to get more and more popular and the tracks get more and more challenging, an area of technical development that is incredibly crucial is shock technology. Well, Ride Effects has been raising the bar, setting the standard on that for a few years now, and we're inside, well, some people have mobile race shops. We're inside what is surely more like a mobile laboratory. This facility is amazing. I'm with Barry Eckhoff of Ride Effects. And Barry, tell us a little bit about what happens inside this facility on the road.
Greg, good morning. What we've got here is a 53-foot mobile lab, and it's effectively a mobile ride development lab. We can take this and bring it right on site to all the races and allow our technicians and our engineers to do shock work with all the snowcross racers that we sponsor. In addition, we actually take it on site and work with our snowmobile customers and our ATV customers and actually be able to develop suspension work with them right on site. And from a snowcross perspective, it allows our guys to be able to work directly with all our pro riders that we sponsor and actually be able to make very quick changes for them.
Well, folks, it's that kind of commitment, not just to R&D, but servicing the customer on the road, that allows Ride Effects to live up to their slogan, Ride Hard. We can take it.
And when we return, we're going to introduce you to Steve Shearing of Amsoil. That's coming up next.
Did you change the jets in here, Jimmy? We'll bring this one in and Boinger can start working on that one. I like that energy. Gabe, where's the board at? Oh, Deersfield too. Pretty good. Okay, go smoke in there, cowboy. Clean sled, clean mind. I bet you've never seen a team owner with hands this dirty before, have you? It takes somebody with drive to put a team together. Hey Jimmy, I probably only need the front one off of that one. Take that back clutch off.
For us, being a non-factory team, we work twice as hard.
10-4. Say, boy, guys, you got your radio on yet? He was number 4. Go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what I pinned for.
If I can bend it a little bit now.
Is that better?
Quite a guy. He means a lot to the series. Let's take you back to qualifying in Pro Open. This is round 3, heat 3.
On board with Noel Kohanski, who was looking pretty good in this one. But as they head into the top of that hockey stick, this is the last turn onto the front straight. Watch what happens. He got nudged, ran way wide, carried in too much speed. Off he went. Now he drops way back, but here's the big story. Like in the stock class, there is Ibsen being chased hard by Carl Allard. Allard pressuring. Ibsen felt it, got into those hay bales, or the tough boxes, flipped over. He was underneath Allard's sled, but because of the soft snow, and Allard's thinking very quickly, he lifted the sled up, Ibsen crawled out, Allard took out, but that allowed Dennis Ekstrom to win it.
Then in round 3, heat 4, here was the action.
All Blair Morgan, and he got the whole shot, but the big story here, listen to this. Did you hear that little bobble? That's a rare crash by Morgan, but what happened, he blew a belt, and it locked the clutch up, and that's like grabbing the brake when you're midair. Remember Gula's crash at Canterbury? Watch the track here. Looks good. There, you see him go forward, and there's the track. It's locking up. That weight goes forward. He just augured in huge, only he came off to the side a little bit instead of riding the bars like Gula did. Now watch here. We take a look afterwards. They lift it up. Look when he reaches in and pulls out. There it is. And that locked that clutch up, and that just parked that baby right now.
So now, Blair Morgan, Tucker Hibbert, and the rest wait for the Pro Open LCQ. It's next. Pro Open, last chance qualifier. 4 will make it. Very cold day. Winds are up. To run in this LCQ is going to take a lot of extra energy. You're on board, Todd Wolf.
That's TJ Gula's teammate who just went by him on the outside in front of everybody is Noel Kohanski. Look at that, Ibsen up along the outside. Oh, they're packing it up early.
Ibsen right just ahead of Todd Wolf. Over to the left. Kind of cool, you've got an onboard camera right up there in the middle of the fight. Todd Wolf currently running in fourth behind Kohanski, Ibsen, and TJ Gula.
He was alongside Gula for a moment there, and then suddenly Gula went back around. Remember, the top 4 advanced, so this battle, Gula, Wolf, and Allard right behind, this is a stellar scrap, and it's very important right now.
And our camera is sitting right there in the transfer spot. So let's just ride with him. Oh, that is very cool. Kohanski, Ibsen, TJ Gula.
Then Wolf, and then that's Carl Allard, and Allard knows that he's in 5th, and that's not enough. He's got to pick up another spot. Go back on board now.
Remember Allard, he had that victory in the LCQ for Pro Stock. Here he is in the LCQ for Pro Open. Todd Wolf in the transfer spot. You're back on board with him.
Oh, he just got roosted. Let's go back on board. See if we can ride with him for a bit again.
Chasing TJ Gula. Oh! That's what it looks like when it's wrong.
He got it wrong. You saw that sled rotate. And that's what, oh, there's a hit. That was Allard, got down inside him, and they bumped.
And Allard takes over the transfer point. A lap of trouble. You see him turn around and take a look back.
There went Nakazawa. He knows that he's not back up to speed. That's why that head's pivoting like that, watching for who's coming up. So Allard now, Paul, has gone to that transfer spot, and Reimer got by as well.
Earl Reimer on 100 got by. We're about 2.5 laps from the finish in this Pro Open LCQ. Right now, Kohanski, Ibsen, TJ Gula, and Allard would transfer into the final.
Wolf was chasing. You saw number 2. That's Nathan Titus struggling a little bit in this one as well. That leg of Nathan's still not healthy, and it's definitely affecting his ability to ride.
Noel Kohanski is the leader on his Polaris. That has been a lot of good time with Kohanski at the Winter X Games. What a great guy. 2 laps to go.
He really is, and he's been one of the instrumental people in the resurgence of the Polaris team. He and the engineers, along with some of the other racers, spent a lot of time together working on changes, working on fixes, just sort of brainstorming to come up with some of the improvements that have brought the Team Red equipped back into the front lines.
Allard working hard on TJ Gula. Allard in the transfer spot. Earl Reimer on 100 is looking for that 4th place.
Well, he's been looking aggressively enough that he got up pretty close to Allard, and like these mod sleds, 800cc of modified engine, you hear them. They got the pipes, unlike the stock sleds. You can sneak up on somebody. Not in this class. Reimer got close, and Allard has responded.
Working on the final lap. Gula trying to hold off Allard. Here comes Reimer down on the inside. Gula, Allard, Reimer.
Yeah. Allard got into the back of Gula. And we'll see if Reimer is able to take advantage of it.
Kohanski, here comes Ibsen right now.
Still Allard.
Gula still trying to hold off Allard. Reimer fell back. There is Kohanski taking the win. And the rest come through, and it is Allard in the transfer spot. Earl Reimer comes home in 5th place. And so there they are, Kohanski, Ibsen, TJ Gula, and Carl Allard will transfer to the Pro Open final. And what about TJ Gula on 44? He is very definitely ready. We'll be back with the Pro Open final right after this. Cold weather, high winds, but the crowd is pumped at Syracuse. It is Pro Open, ready to go to the line.
There's a good look at Blair Morgan, and I'll tell you what, this guy is revered here in Syracuse. This crowd extremely knowledgeable on their racing, and they know a superstar when they see one.
They cheer on Blair Morgan. TJ Gula, what an interesting story he has been throughout this season. We chronicled part of it. Now let's go down to Jerry Bernardo to talk about it.
The LCQ was just tough because there was just so many fast guys, and it's hard to see out there when you get behind with the snow dust and stuff. So I'm just going to go into this one and get the best start I can from the back row and try to pick them off one by one, just wait for my opportunities.
And then there's Blair Morgan and Tucker Hibbert. Now this thing has become a fairly serious rivalry. And what do the 2 guys think about that conflict?
A lot of people want to make a rivalry between me and Blair. There's not really anything there, you know. We're on the same team, so we get along real well. I've known him since he first came into the sport, so there's no hard feelings there.
It's exciting for the fans if we didn't get along and we're fighting, kind of like how me and Chris Vincent were before. And the things we do on the track, we don't take it personally like Chris does. I can come up and bump him a little bit, and that's just how we like to race, and other people don't take it personally.
There's Tucker Hibbert, gold medalist at X Games in 2000. Blair Morgan, of course, won the most recent X Games. And also on the line, Chris Vincent, the 99 X Games gold medalist. The line is ready. We're ready for the final in Pro Open. There's the front row. And Kohanski, Ibsen, Gula, and Allard come out of the LCQ. We're ready to go. Pro Open Syracuse.
Looked like Hibbert got a fairly good start. There's Vincent. That's Hibbert next to him, and down the inside is Morgan.
Oh, Morgan just rocketed through down the inside, takes the lead.
That was one of Morgan's great starts, Paul, and it came from the fact he did not get off the line very well. He checked up, went down the inside, and went from about 5th to the lead in that short shoot. Unbelievable start.
Oh, what a run for Blair Morgan. I mean, I don't think he ever lifted even as he passed through the corner. 7C, there is Morgan. Hibbert, Trevor John in 3rd place. Then Chris Vincent and Kurt Crapo.
You're absolutely right. It was an unbelievable launch by Morgan, and I think it surprised everybody that he shot down the inside. You'll notice in that top 5, TJ Gula's not there. He got way buried deep in that pack, and he's struggling right now.
2 Arctic Cats out in front. Then Trevor John on his Polaris and Chris Vincent on the Ski-Doo. 7C is Blair Morgan. He's riding like there's no tomorrow. Tucker Hibbert trying to catch him.
And we've said this before, Paul, when these two guys are at the front early, David Brown.
Brown's in trouble, sled off the side. Number 5 is out of this final. Let's see what happened, Greg.
You just saw where we circled Brown. He caught one of those whoops, and it sent the sled upward, and he went over the bars, got a good look at his headlight. You don't want to be doing that. The concern for Brown, of course, is his ankle. It looked like he offloaded, and he didn't do anything to that ankle, so he may be sore elsewhere, but that ankle looks all right.
The leader, Blair Morgan, comes fast, as does 68, Tucker Hibbert in 2nd place. The kid is now working on Morgan.
He's closed up. Look at Morgan. Did you see that? He went up in the air, rotated the sled in the air, got it almost perpendicular to the track so we could land on the downside in the slope of that berm and ramp into the corner. These two guys, their control of these sleds is otherworldly. It's unreal.
Well, they call Morgan Superman, and that's why. But don't count out Tucker Hibbert. He continues his pursuit. Almost dead center in the tracks, left behind by Morgan.
Well, he knows Morgan's running some fast lines, but one thing Tucker also is very astute on is you can follow him till you catch him, but you've got to have something where you can work a different line. Right now, I think he's just trying to stay close to Morgan, let Morgan hear him, and hope that maybe Blair might make a mistake. That's rare. I don't know if it's ever happened that he's felt pressure and come off, but Hibbert's working him over huge right now.
About 5.5 to go. Blair Morgan still in front. He sprays snow right in the face of the 2nd place competitor, the 68 of Tucker Hibbert. Morgan over the jumps. Hibbert right there in his tracks. They've separated themselves pretty handily from the rest of the battle. Guys like Trevor John and Chris Vincent, there they are as they battle it out for 3rd.
And battle it out's right. Those two have been after each other hammer and tong for the last couple of laps. Very close indeed. Trevor a little stronger in that section of track, but then Vincent closes it right back up. What I was going to say earlier about these two up front, Morgan and Hibbert, when they're at the front early, they almost bumped right there. They tend to push each other to even higher levels than they've ridden before, and levels that the rest of the field just struggle to imagine, let alone get to at this stage. It's unbelievable to watch these two guys race.
They've certainly done that here, separated well. 1st and 2nd from 3rd place, Trevor John. There is John, there is Chris Vincent. Battles at the lead, battles in 3rd and 4th. We'll be back. Vernon Downs in Syracuse, the Pro Open final. Nothing's changed since we've left you. Blair Morgan leads it. Tucker Hibbert is doing everything he can to do to put an end to that lead with 3 laps to go now. At the same time, Chris Vincent is trying to work Trevor John out of 3rd place.
And the leaders now getting into some traffic. Both of them getting by Kohansky cleanly there. Kohansky struggling just a little bit. So no gain, no foul for either of these two. And the battle just continues. And now you can see Tucker's starting to move off of the line just a little bit. He knows he can ride fast enough to stay with Blair, but he's got to find something quicker if he's going to get around Blair. And that's what he's trying to discover right now.
Yeah, for Hibbert, it's one thing to be able to chase him and stay right with him. Another thing entirely to get around him. That's the line he now searches for because he knows that they are in the final moments of the race. He comes up on the side of the bank and comes down low. It doesn't work for him. Blair Morgan still in the lead. In fact, it lost a little bit for Hibbert.
He had an idea. He tried it. You're right. It wasn't the right one, but you've got to explore. He saw what Morgan was doing. He thought it was a different line. Did it again there.
He makes another shot at it, digs heavily into the snow, slows him down. But now he's back in contact.
And
led off to the right. Hibbert gets around him.
He got around him, and that's a good thing. I thought for a minute he might get bogged down behind that sled, but they got by clean. There's Vincent in fourth. Still has not been able to find an answer to a very fast Trevor John.
Yeah, he's trying to catch the Polaris of Trevor John.
And he's not having a lot of luck with it. He keeps the pressure on here. Now some more traffic. That's Ibsen. Hibbert's trying to get around. He locked up and bumped him. Hibbert was able to get around him, but it cost him just that little bit, Paul.
And that where the checkered flag, and it's Morgan. Morgan takes the win in Pro Open. Tucker Hibbert, whatever possible chance he had, was eliminated in that last lap. And I don't think it was much of a chance. At the same time, here is that battle for third place. Did Vincent get him in the air?
I don't think so, but boy, he hit it as hard as he could, trying. Immense air by Vincent. And you know, Morgan wanted to do a trick when he won that one. They've been gusting winds up into the 50 to 60 mile an hour range here this weekend, and it's making it awful tough to do much. Here's a look at the start, and you can see Vincent and Krapel bumping on the outside. There's Hibbert, but no Morgan. He's back in the pack. But from his heat races, there he comes. This inside line was like glass. He gets there, tapes it, never lifts, knows it's smooth, catches that little bit of a bump there, ramps up to the top of the wall. That cuts away the line for everybody else. Morgan leads.
That was an amazing hole shot right down the inside. This, of course, a little later when Tucker Hibbert is fighting to keep his sled upright. And Blair Morgan wasn't as smooth a road as he would have liked as he gets nerfed from behind by Tucker, but that was mostly costly to Tucker. And then the finish itself as Blair Morgan on 7C kicks it up, comes over the line, and takes the win away from Tucker Hibbert. So there they are, Morgan and Hibbert once again at the top of the order. Trevor John comes home in third. Let's go down to Jerry Bernardo.
Blair, what do I always say?
Snocross is fun. And
winning is fun.
Winning is even more fun.
Tucker was right on your butt the whole time. All I saw was snow in his face. Did you know he was so close?
Yeah, I knew he was close. One of these back jumps, I could see his shadow behind me. So I knew how far, I could gauge on how far he was behind me. But yeah, I had a little trouble turning out there. I think he was getting in on me in some of the corners, but some of this coming out of the corners, I think I might have pulled him a bit. But yeah, just trying to throw snow in his face.
Yeah, what do you think of the track? It's that real loose sugar stuff.
Yeah, it's really cold here, and it's really loose, and I like it when it's more traction and he can hook up better and turn better.
And I'll speak for you, I like it when I win. Blair Morgan on this day right now.
You said it all, Jerry.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hey, Jerry, let him do the talking in the future. Tucker Hibbert is still leading in the points by a single point over Blair Morgan. Let's go back to Bernardo.
Tucker, you win second right behind Blair. All I saw was snow just pelting you in the face off the big mod.
Yeah, it's an awesome race. It's so much fun. That was the most fun I've had in a long time. Yeah, you know, it's kind of tough in secondary, just get roosted big time, but you know, just rode my hardest and had a lot of fun. Me and Blair were real close the whole time, and that's what I like. That's fun racing.
Well, for Tucker Hibbert, who in pro stock qualifying could not find the groove, he definitely found it in this one.
A great day, though, a cold day at Syracuse for the WSA. We thank you for being with us. I'm Paul Page for Greg Kramer and Jerry Bernardo. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more about Snocross, log on to ESPN.com. WSA Snocross Tour is now north of the border. We're in French Canada, Quebec, Canada, at Valcourt for the Grand Prix de Valcourt. It's a gray afternoon here, but this event is a major, major event and always pulls up some exciting action. Ready for Pro Stock Final. There's Justin Tate. He's going to be carrying an onboard camera for us. You saw it there on his helmet. Noel Kohansky on 37.
Mr. Kohansky, boy, he loves his racing, always enthusiastic. There's Chris Vincent. Didn't have to come up to the LCQ. We struggled with that a couple of times this season. There, of course, is the man. He's at home in Canada. He may not be French-Canadian, but he's Canadian. He wants this bad.
And the lineup for the Pro Stock Final, they're all going to be shooting at number 68, Tucker Hibbert, who has been so powerful along with Blair Morgan this season. On the line, final check going on. Engines are started. And we're ready to go in the Pro Stock Final. Green flag. Here we go.
Morgan had a huge start to the inside, but Tucker, a huge comeback.
Everybody jammed up. Justin Tate right in the middle of it. Finally, he gets clear and roars back into the fight. In the meantime, Blair Morgan surges out in front, but not all that far, and everybody's chasing him.
That was Gula that he got involved with coming from the back row. Gula got a huge start, but it all went away as a result of that coming together.
The wind, the snow dust, as suggested, very much a factor here.
Good look at Tate on board that Amsoil machine, but here's your battle up front. Morgan once again on the Black Magic Cat, chased hard by Hibbert on that Stud Boy Cat, and there's Vincent, Bud Light Skidoo up into third. This is about as good a start as we see Chris get this year.
Morgan, Hibbert, Vincent, 1, 2, 3, as they work the end of lap number 1. There's the lineup down through 5th place for you. As Morgan and Hibbert continue their season-long battle, and there's Vincent poking his nose into this. Everybody really hoping that Vincent's going to do some good this year.
Right behind Vincent, by the way, you got just a quick glimpse of Serge Audet, one of the top French-Canadian snowcrossers. Very, very talented rider. Go back on board with Tate.
Tate back down in the field in the middle of a fight of his own.
I think that's Kohansky. That's off to his right shoulder. We're just getting the odd glimpse of. There he is. Yep, that's Golden Knoll. Cuts across the bows. That is Tate's teammate. That's Ekstrom, who now has moved into 5th.
Ekstrom into 5th behind Audet. Top 3 haven't changed. Morgan, Hibbert, and then, of course, Chris Vincent. Let's watch the start again.
Well, there are your two protagonists. Hibbert way outside, Morgan inside. And look at the launch Morgan got. He was clearly off the line best. But watch what Hibbert does. Morgan selects the inside. Hibbert just tapes it around that smoother outside. Came out right on Morgan's flap.
That was an interesting choice of lanes, and it really worked out. I guess what he's thinking is, I'm not going to be up to full speed. That inside lane may, in fact, work a lot better for me on this, the very first lap, where it may not always be the best area.
Well, and had Tucker lined up next to Morgan, he could have got squeezed, ended up falling off that berm, and then you lose all your momentum. So I think Tucker looked at it and went, no way. If Morgan decides inside, I want to be on the complete other end, run a completely different line. It worked for both of them.
You watch Tucker Hibbert running in 2nd, chasing Blair Morgan down if he can. Morgan seems to be inching away from Hibbert. There gives you an idea of the conditions that they face. Of course, they don't have the clear view from the outside we have. They get the snow spray constantly.
Well, I talked about the amount of snow here, and it's good, solid, natural snow. They did truck in some, but the base is all good, natural snow, and there's so much of it. It's so good to see these guys racing now on nice, fluffy snow that they can really put these sleds to use.
Back taking the jump with Justin Tate. There's Vincent.
Pretty comfortable, lonely, but comfortable 3rd right now. Not a lot of pressure from Audet, but he is losing touch a little bit with Hibbert up front.
Blair Morgan continues in front, followed by Tucker Hibbert. We'll be back with more from the Grand Prix de Valcourt. Welcome back to the Grand Prix to Valcourt. Valcourt, Quebec, Canada. Blair Morgan still out in front. Tucker Hibbert chasing. Chris Vincent solidly in there in third.
Morgan's actually opened it up just a little bit more over Hibbert. You can see Hibbert has found a line, though, off of that jump off to the side where he gets down on the track much quicker. Whoa. And that was that Gula that just got by Ekstrom?
Gula and Ekstrom. Gula got by.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about. If you get trapped and up on top of one of those berms and you slide down the offside, all your momentum goes away while you correct, and you lose a ton of ground. That's exactly what happened to Ekstrom.
In the closing laps, an enormous interval between first and second. But look at this nice little battle. Justin Tate, you ride with him on his 28th.
He is really putting some pressure on. There's Vincent in third. You know, this is the home of Skidoo and Bombardier, so Vincent doing the job right now, keeping the honor for Skidoo, and right behind him, Serge Audet, not only on a Skidoo, but a French-Canadian on a Skidoo. This race means so much to him. Oh, and he just dropped the spot, it looked like. Or is that a lap sled that they were going by? I think it was a lap sled. Caught me for a second, but Audet still fourth.
Back at the front, Blair Morgan. Hibbert well back now. This is, without question, the birthplace of the snowmobile up here in Valcourt, Canada. Dropping back once again. Here's Gula and Ekstrom. Ekstrom comes inside. Oh, great little fight.
And there's an example of the outside line. It's longer, but it's a little smoother and faster. And Ekstrom used it to good effect. Got by Gula, but now Gula's going to counter. He wants inside again. Watch this.
Gula moves on the inside. Ekstrom gets in a little bit of trouble. Hyatt slows him down. They're still neck and neck as they cross the line.
That is extremely good close action here. That's the lap sled that now they're both going to have to deal with.
Traffic, such a critical factor on a course like this where you actually catch the back end in the finals.
It still is such a joy to watch Dennis Ekstrom race. You know, you think about it, the way he rides, you think he's been around the sport racing and is a seasoned veteran. He's still only 20, but he rides with such patience and really thinks out loud in terms of the lines. You can almost see him set passes up. Such a joy to watch him race.
Audet on 27, just ahead of Dennis Ekstrom.
There's Vincent, the Bud Light Skidoo, and you can just see behind him Ekstrom now. He had closed on Vincent, but now he's got to get through that traffic.
You know, and Tucker Hibbert is closing in on Blair Morgan. Maybe Morgan realizes he's in an excellent position and is just backed off it a little bit. As he comes to the line this time, he should see the white flag, one to go, but Vincent now joins this fight.
That's the number 27 of Audet now. Ekstrom has caught him, so we have a battle for fourth here going into the last couple laps. It is very close. There's Vincent, there's Audet, and right there is Ekstrom. That battle is that close now for fourth spot.
We've been following the development of this battle throughout the Pro Stock Final, and it's going to come right down to the line.
You're right, there's Morgan, and Hibbert definitely is closed in. What Hibbert's been doing is mirroring Morgan's lines, riding those lines, and it's allowed him to close up. He's referencing off Morgan. Problem is, once he catches him, then you got to do something about it. Here's that battle we're talking about.
Ekstrom all over the back end, trying to catch up. Look at all of them battling in there. Great battle for fourth place. Morgan takes the win. Hibbert will come across in second place.
And here's that battle for third. That's Vincent, and he's got enough in hand unless he struggles. But right here, look at that, Audet and Ekstrom.
Vincent screams now for the finish line jump, takes third place. And there is the replay of Morgan.
Celebrating a little bit. Picked up celebrating just a little bit here at the line for Morgan. And you saw Morgan right when he finished put his hand behind his back. I think he may have frozen his hand a little bit. It is so cold here. Here's your results.
-3 degrees. Blair Morgan takes the win. Valcourt, we mentioned, the birthplace of the snowmobile. And they had a proud parade downtown as they prepared for the Grand Prix here. We'll be back with more from Valcourt. Welcome back to Valcourt, Canada. Without the Bombardier groomers, we wouldn't even have a course. They're marvelous machines. For more, here's Greg.
You know, we've talked at some length about the great rigs, the big trailers in the paddock, so vital to the race teams, but there's a couple pieces of equipment vital to the building of a racetrack, especially a snowcross track, and then certainly operating a race on those tracks. One of them is a groomer, and these things are very specialized, and Bombardier is recognized as the world's leading manufacturer of groomers. And I'm with Alan Bombardier, International Service Technician for Bombardier and the Groomers. What makes the Bombardier groomers so special, so unique?
The Bombardier groomer have a complete driving system. The track, you can control both track completely independent. What is make the trucks, the vehicles so easy to drive around and make those bumps for a type of snowcross trail. Very important. And this type of version of vehicle we start in beginning of 80s. And from this generation, it was a hydrostatic system drive independent system, and we're just going to perform, and now we have an electronic assisted system that will control the drive, the track system.
He mentioned that unique drive system where each of the tracks operate completely independently of the other. What that allows it to do is do incredibly short snap turns. How does that apply to a snowcross track? Well, oftentimes you'll see the groomer in an area where the track is quite hard and frozen, and it'll just be sort of shuffling back and forth, making tight turns. And with the big paddles, those metal paddles in the track, it chews the snow up, softens it, makes it more malleable, therefore groomable. Of course, you also have the huge plow at the front. You can move an immense amount of snow in a short amount of time. That allows you to put snow where you want it. And finally, the process is complete with the amazing tiller at the back of these machines. And what that allows you to do, once that plow has moved the snow where you want it and flattened it out, the tiller will literally groom it up, chew it up, and make it very, very smooth. It is a complete package.
Dave Brown ready for his qualifying run. We'll have Pro Open qualifying when we return to Valcourt. We want to show you Pro Open qualifying. This is round 3, heat 2. Focuses on Dave Brown.
Brown, of course, coming back from that horrific accident at Duluth season opener where he broke his ankle. They said by this part of the season he should barely be able to walk. And look what he's doing out there. Had a very strong ride and worked over some great passes, Paul. Inside, outside. There was a great outside move of Tupper. Brownie said that the ankle was actually in pretty good shape. It was mentally. Anytime he'd start to roll it over, it scared him. And he had to get over that. Now this is round 3, heat 4. And Blair Morgan in this one. So's Kohansky. Kohansky carrying the helmet cam. You see him out front. Nice outside move there as well. Morgan, though, takes up the chase of Kohansky. Look at that beautiful pass there by TJ Gula. Morgan counters it again. I mean, there was some great back and forth action here. All of it in pursuit of Noel Kohansky. Looked like Morgan had him covered right here. And suddenly, problems. Morgan's sled starts to slow down. Look at him right there. He's up, knows something's wrong. Pulls off, literally off to the side of the track. You don't see this often. There's Barry Dawson, his mechanic, one of the best in the business. He was done.
Highlights from the qualifying. Here is Yuji Nakazawa. He is a class act. At the track, they're calling him Mr. Excitement.
Yuji, this year is your first year with WSA. So far, has you some fun?
Very good. Yamaha Factory Racing Team, very nice. Okay. And WSA, very good.
How does this compare to Japan? Racing here in Japan.
American is big jump and high level.
Yeah, high doubles.
Yep, and
Japan, little jump.
So-so.
Last question.
Yep.
On your Yamaha snowmobile, on the left side, do you know that's the brakes?
Yeah.
You only know this side. Ah!
Yeah.
Kichigai.
No.
What's Kichigai?
Yeah. You too.
Crazy. You don't like the brakes? No brakes?
No. Too much.
Only gas. High five. We're really good close friends. He loves me. We're like tight. I'm going to Japan next year. It's going to be fun, okay? I come to your house in Japan.
Yep. Come on.
Scary.
Just a reminder for you that our next coverage of WSA Snocross Worldwide is the Shakopee Manufacturers Cup on Wednesday, April the 11th, 5:30 Eastern Time. Well, look at this. Tucker Hibbert is going to race in the LCQ for Pro Open. It's not been a good weekend for him. Here is Jerry Bernardo.
Tucker, it's my understanding you had a couple of crashes, not really your style. What happened?
First round, just kind of came in a little too close to the guy and got tipped over. Second round, I clipped a few bales, got tossed over the bars, but won the third round. We're going to LCQ, so hopefully we can win the LCQ and go on to the main.
So you're all set, right?
Hopefully, yeah.
What about your head? You got your head screwed on?
Yeah, I think so. We're just keep chomping at the bit. Keep going, but we'll see what happens.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Tucker in the LCQ. Fascinating. Dave Brown, remember he injured his ankle in the season opener at Duluth? Well, the question is, how's Dave doing now?
Right now, physically, I'm about 100%. I don't really feel it when I'm riding unless I case something. As far as riding, I haven't been able to not do anything that I haven't tried yet. I keep trying to push it a little more each weekend, but so far I've just kind of been riding in that safe zone. It's hard with the competition that's out here. You got to take some chances every now and then and take a chance at casing something or coming up a little short.
Interesting development for Brownie's teammate. Yuji Nakazawa was the first alternate for the LCQ, and TJ Gula had a problem. It didn't look like he was going to make the line. However, Gula has made it, and that's a sad sight. Yuji, with a shot at it, has to leave, go back and park in the paddock, and TJ Gula will take his place.
So we're ready for the last chance qualifier in Pro Open, including, of course, Tucker Hibbert, which is going to make this a most interesting run. Once again, the top four will move to the second line in the final green flag. Here we go.
Paul, you saw at the flag, you saw the reaction time, the trigger finger. Whoa! That's
Brown is down.
Oh, and he's got an ankle is twisted up in there. The question is it okay? And let's see.
Oh, what a tough season for Dave Brown. Got a little time until they come by again, but it would be nice if they could get him out of the way.
Well, the good news, Paul, is he got up, and it looks like an ankle wasn't affected in that incident, but that's got to play with his mind a little bit. On board here, some of these great shots again, this time with Jim Beck.
No surprise that Tucker Hibbert came flying out of the hole shot and begins already to just distance himself from the remainder of the field in this last chance qualifier for Pro Open.
That was Todd Wolf, the Black Magna vehicle interior skidoo that went by. Then 85, Trevor John as well. But I was talking about Tucker off the line. That flag had barely moved, and he was already coming off the line. His reaction times are incredible. The clutching on that cat works so well that it gives him
of the field in this last chance qualifier for Pro Open.
That was Todd Wolf, the Black Magna vehicle interior skidoo that went by. Then 85, Trevor John as well. But I was talking about Tucker off the line. That flag had barely moved, and he was already coming off the line. His reaction times are incredible. The clutching on that cat works so well that it gives him just that little bit, half a sled length advantage into a turn is everything. We've talked about other people's skis to tracks and the like. If you've got that nose out front, it's a tremendous advantage, and you can see why. Good look there at Todd Tupper. Back on board with Beck.
Interesting that first through four of the P guys. Tucker, Todd, Trevor, the whole gang.
Yeah, Todd Tupper there as well. Unbelievable. Steve Girard on the skidoo sits in the fifth spot. There's a good look at Todd Tupper. They call him TNT. When everything's on, he came off a big injury last year and has gotten stronger with every race. But he's under attack. That's Girard, Paul.
Girard on 70, the yellow sled, as he works on the cat, Todd Tupper. This is the battle for fourth. Again, it's the key position. First through four transfer. Now Girard has fourth.
That was a sweet, sweet move. And now they go into the S's. If you remember earlier, we talked about that.
Whoa! He puts a ski right up on him, and Tupper goes back into fourth.
And that's what these S's allow you to do. It's the back and forth. It's two hairpins attached, and you get somebody offline just a little bit in the first one. You can make it work, pass them into the second one. It's exactly what Tupper did. It's a very exciting area of the track.
Gerard's not going to let that one go as he tries to come back, Todd Tupper. 3 to go in this LCQ top 4 transferring.
And that's the battle for that last transfer spot, so it's often the most furious of the race.
Gerard comes to the inside. Gerard's got him again. Gerard to fourth.
Boy, Tupper, though, that outside line a little faster and smoother. He got a good exit speed, but look right there. Gerard went right to the line Tupper was going, like he sensed it, shut him down.
Tucker lost a little momentum there, but still he's coming back. And oh, no! It just isn't going to work at all.
Well, he's exploring lots of different lines, trying to figure some way now to get back around Gerard. And what it's doing is actually Gerard has found a very, very effective line. And with Tupper exploring, it's allowed Gerard actually to stretch it away a bit.
Hibbert, Wolf, and John, top 3, no challenge there. Battle is back here at the transfer spot. Gerard currently occupies it. Todd Tupper's looking for any place that he can find to try and catch up and get around Gerard.
And I saw for just a second TJ Gula coming up, taking a run at Tupper. And if he can get by Tupper and go after it, who knows? That battle for that transfer may be yet on. There is Tucker up front, Wolf, and Trevor John.
And here comes Gerard now. TJ Gula now in 5th place. As Tupper fades completely. Gula with 1 lap to go now, if he is going to make it up to the transfer spot.
It's going to be tough. Gerard has a pretty substantial margin over Gula. I think Gula's going to need some help.
Back as we give you a brief ride with Jim Beck Jr. And back to the front. Final lap for Tucker Hibbert. He will easily go into the Pro Open final. But he's, for the first time, going to go into that final with 1 extra race under his belt. And in the very cold temperatures here, that's a little more on the exhaustion factor.
And from the back row as well, as he does a nice no-foot can-can to celebrate. He's going to have to look at that a little ski-y, but he's got to come through that whole front row to have any type of a shot at this. There's the other 3, I believe, Paul. Yep.
Well, it's not only Tucker Hibbert, as we look at the 4 that will transfer, that has a problem. Blair Morgan's been having problems, too.
Blair, were you eating?
Eating?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm eating right now.
Good. What happened to your sled?
I overjumped this step-down thing.
It's a little late in the day for that sort of foolishness, wouldn't you agree? You're going to be all set for the main?
I hope so. They got to totally change everything, so it takes a long time.
Personally, I have the utmost faith in Barry, a mechanic, and the whole team. I mean, that's, from the heart.
Yeah, me too. I think it's going to be totally fine. I'm going to be out there winning the main event.
Well, I'll see you later on. I'll go check on it for you. Why don't you just take a break?
Yeah, okay. If you just check all the bolts, it'd be fine.
No problem. No.
There's Blair Morgan.
Came in here 1 point down to Tucker Hibbert, Pro Open points, but has been very effective in qualifying.
And Chris Vincent.
Former winner here at Valcourt, and of course carrying the colors for Skidoo on that Bud Light Skidoo. He wants this one bad.
Doing well, Carl Shabitsky.
Actually tied for top qualifier honors, this on the heels of winning in the Pro Stock Division last year.
And from the 2nd row, Tucker Hibbert.
Mentioned that he's got that 1 point lead on Morgan, but his day is a tough one coming from the back of the pack.
So as we show you the rest of the lineup in Pro Open, going to be an interesting first couple of laps with Tucker being stuck back in that 2nd row with some other fairly talented racers as well. Tip of the flag is down, the engines are up. Racers are ready. Pro Open is underway. You ride with Nathan Titus. Oh, big jam up in the first corner. 3 sleds in trouble. Looks like everybody's okay, though.
That's Gerard, that's Kohansky, and one of the Amsoil sleds has gone inverted as well, so tough start for them, obviously.
The rest of the field continues on. And look out in front there. It's Carl.
Shibitsky, a great start. As I said, he tied with Ekstrom for top qualifier. Put that to good use with a great launch.
Oh, isn't it neat to see a different color out in front on the first lap? Blair Morgan is now trying to cut his way through the field. We'll look back to and try to find Tucker for you.
That's 27 on Dent, then Ekstrom, then Morgan trying to wedge his way through. There is Hibbert, about midway through up to 7.
So Tucker Hibbert got a reasonable start, sits in 7th place right now.
I think he did the smart thing by laying back a little bit in that first corner, letting it settle and starting to pick his lines. And I mentioned Ekstrom. That was actually Tate who had the good start, sits in 3rd. Ekstrom was the rider who went inverted in that incident.
Tate battling with Blair Morgan. Another good fight here.
That's Carl Allard and our man Tucker Hibbert. And Allard won that battle. Carl Allard is a very tough Canadian racer right here from Quebec, and he's not going to give up easily, and he's making Tucker earn it.
And what a great surprise, though, to see Carl Shibitsky out in front, and he's out pretty far. He's got a nice run going.
He's had a great opening couple of laps, no question, as we watch Chris Vincent, who is back in the 5th spot right now, and then some of the battling going on behind. There's Tucker, still has not been able to clear Allard.
So Vincent coming up into 5th. Tucker still trying to make his way through the field. Shibitsky and Morgan. Oh, no.
That was Tate. Tate had a big off out of 3rd spot. That is unfortunate. He had a great run going.
So Justin Tate finds problems early.
Looks like he may have had a little problem, maybe a little fire on that machine. He was putting some snow down there. It's plenty cold enough that you know the sled wasn't overheating. So perhaps he had a little bit of a fuel spill.
Yeah, the temperature here about 3 degrees below zero. Those skies have cleared and the winds are down for this Pro Open final.
One of the complaints we have heard from some of the riders is they like to run as light a glove as they can to really be able to feel the throttle and brake, and a few of them have come off their hands in immense amount of pain, going completely numb from frostbite. So it's a real iffy situation. You can see now Tucker Hibbert has gone around not only Allard but Audet as well. He's 4th and is closing quickly on Vincent for 3rd.
I am surprised, though, that we have not seen Tucker Hibbert come screaming up through the field faster than he has. Shibitsky is the leader. We'll be back with more. The Pro Open final. There's the lineup with just 6 laps to go, and Carl Shibitsky well out in front.
He was so strong in qualifying, and Shibitsky's lead right now, further evidence that not only is Shibitsky a great rider, but that Polaris is definitely resurgent in the sport and has built a great sled. And here's the battle for 3rd, Paul.
Yeah, Tucker Hibbert is charging on Chris Vincent. They're neck and neck into the corner. Vincent still got him, but Tucker's been carving his way up through the field.
That's that double apex first corner, and you can see Hibbert got very squirrely. He's running a different line. He tries to cut by.
Tucker gets down on the inside, and Tucker gets Vincent, but can he stay there?
That's the slide job pass. Let's take another look at it. Vincent was very good through that double apex turn, but you can see he parked, and Hibbert went in wide, cut underneath, and Vincent right there, you can see shaking his head, frustrated because he left a little opening. Watch what Tucker does. Outside, cut slow, and while Vincent's sliding, his track is locked. Tucker's already on the throttle. That gives him the exit momentum. There he goes. And he takes a little piece of ski just to make sure.
Long agonizing moment for Vincent as well, because he knows that the problem is there and there's nothing that he can do about it. Carl Shibitsky, 96, the Polaris still out in front, but Blair Morgan is running him down.
Oh, he is closing in, back on board with Titus, getting some of these great shots, but you can hear the Jaws music. I mean, definitely Morgan is on the prowl.
Carl Allard is off. Going to get back on and get going. No factor in the run, though. Shibitsky, there's Morgan. Yeah, the oboes are playing. Wonder what it must feel like to be in the lead, knowing you're having a great day, and knowing that Blair Morgan is coming up behind you.
And And as I've said before, I don't know yet that he's aware unless he's looked back, but these open sleds are noisy enough that when a rider gets right up by you, you hear them and you know they're there. And that plays on the psyche a little bit. Here comes Morgan.
Morgan as he pulls alongside. They get into the corner. Shibitsky pulls him. Now into the open again.
Now this is where Hibbert just made the pass on Vincent. Look at that!
And Blair Morgan takes the lead. Same situation we saw on the last lap with Vincent and Tucker Hibbert.
And part of that is you take the guy in, you run him in hard, and Vincent did it, Shibitsky did it to a degree. You go in a little hot, you got to lock the track up to make the turn, and you slide it just wide enough that somebody else can cut by underneath. It's a great piece of setup by Morgan.
Now it's Morgan, Shibitsky, and Tucker Hibbert with 3 to go. The question is, what can Tucker do?
There is Tucker sitting in third. There's Morgan. Pretty good margin Morgan has right now. Over Hibbert, certainly he's quickly opening it up a little bit over Shibitsky. There's Carl. See if we get the reference. There's Hibbert.
Morgan leads it. Here comes Shibitsky. Long way back to Shibitsky really now. And a much longer, you just got a glimpse of Tucker Hibbert there. Much longer way back to Tucker. And this is going to be crucial in that points fight. Remember, Morgan came in here with a 1-point deficit. Tucker gets a bad series of events that puts him into the LCQ. That puts him back on the start. Now he's trying to fight his way forward. Sitting in third place, he needs more points than that.
And each one of the 3 qualifying round heats you run pays points. Morgan got 2 wins. That's 10 apiece, so he got 20 points there, then a 5th. Hibbert only had 1 win at 10 and a 5th and a 6th. The Morgan obviously made up some ground seriously in qualifying. You get 25 points for a win in the final, so this could be a huge turnaround weekend for Blair Morgan in Pro Open.
And during the summer, when they're talking this season down, I think many people are going to say the run at Valcourt is the one that made the absolute difference in terms of the season and the championship in Pro Open, though who knows, there's still a lot of distance to be run. Final lap though in this race.
Yeah, that's Hibbert. He got alongside Shibitsky. I thought it was a lap sled, but Hibbert made up a ton of ground. Something may be wrong with Shibitsky a little bit because, you know, you expect Morgan perhaps to draw away, but not that fast. Shibitsky, something's up, and I think Hibbert got him.
Blair Morgan may have the advantage of some slower sleds as he works on his final lap. Tucker Hibbert now into second. Shibitsky fading again back to third. There's Tucker. And Morgan takes the win. And the points that go with it. And Tucker Hibbert just ran out of time and distance. There's Tucker Hibbert. You can see just by the time interval well back from Blair Morgan.
Great ride by both, and kudos to Shibitsky as well, who had a very strong run. And you can see with that wind having died down, that snow dust just stays in the air. Elated with second place. You got to love young Tucker. I mean, he realizes a good race is a good race. You don't have to win every one of them. Let's go back and take one more look at that pass. Now, what Tucker did is he took Chris in. Chris breaks, but look how wide he slides. Just enough, and he cut underneath. And right here, Tucker makes sure that he doesn't give Chris a counter move. Takes the ski away. Now, here's very similar move. Same turn. Shibitsky goes up higher on the bank. He's on the throttle a little bit more, but Morgan just enough got alongside, and he parked Carl up on top of that soft, fluffy berm, and that just sucks all the momentum right out of your sled.
Tucker Hibbert may have been just satisfied that he got to second from the back. Let's go down to Jerry Bernardo.
Well, yeah, that's my type of race. High-powered machines, lots of snow dust, working your way through the group. I mean, that was great. Come on, you gotta love it. Look at the smile.
It was great. It was cool. I kind of got stuffed on the start on the outside there, and I just came around the outside on the right side of the track here. And I kind of made it work. I found some good lines that no one else is using, so then I was doubling this whole section over here, so I think I've gained a lot of time.
So Blair Morgan takes both Pro Open and Pro Stock here at Valcourt. Another great day with WSA Snocross. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com.